Hey, what's up, guys? It is XTI here with a quick overview of of Guild Wars PvP. Basically, we're going to be talking about the overview of the meta and where the PvP is going and what I like to see in the new expansion, Heart of Thorns. Right now, PvP is obviously extremely stale. I mean, it's pretty fun, but doing the same skills over and over for the past 2 years it can only do so much for you. So now I'm looking for what's the big classes? What's the big things that you can do to get high up in the ranks, and what are Guild Wars trying to do to fix their PvP? But right now, Guild Wars isn't really doing much. Unfortunately, they're just really into the whole tournament, the whole PvP tournaments, and all other stuff like that, and they're not really focusing on fixing the game, which sucks because Guild Wars 2 is a really fun game. I really like it a lot, but the meta is extremely broken right now simply because conditions and burst classes like Rangers, Mesmars, Guardians that can live forever, and stuff like that. It's really annoying. But otherwise than that, it does take, skill to play the game. You can't just run around and do whatever you want. You have to be able to know how to use your skills. You have to have a good trait system up. And it's not entirely cookie cutter like WoW it is or other PvP games. But what I want to see in PvP for the next expansion is I want to see better down skills. I don't like how you can become invulnerable and then kill someone in down state because it kind of defeats the purpose of fighting back. What's the point of fighting back if every single class can make it where you can't stop them? You can't fight back. You're just pretty much downed and then you're just dead because you can't do anything to fix it about because they're invisible. You can't stop them to whatever. And I understand that's part of PvP to be able to stop them from going up and all the other good stuff, but it's still extremely annoying because that was one of what is it called? The main points of the PvP for sure in the game. Now, of course, one of the other PvP points that they had mainly in the game when the game first came out about like 2, 3 years ago now or something like that was the water PvP, which they completely took out of the game pretty much for PvP, and they said, hey, if you guys don't mention it, we're not going to talk about it either. If you don't remember, a long time ago, probably like a year ago before they actually took out the game because they didn't want to fix water PvP, was the pirate map. I'm not really sure you guys remember, but the pirate map, it had two bases on each side, and then it had a base underwater, forcing you to fight underwater so you can get the base, along fighting with sharks and other things like that in the game. But instead of fixing the water PvP, like I said, they decided, hey, fuck it, we're just going to take this map out of the game completely, and then we're just going to leave them with these couple maps where you have to fight on land. Now, that kind of sucks because that was one of the main points. You're not always going to be wanting to fight on land. Like, we have another set of weapons. We have a whole bunch of different skills. We have all this other stuff. I would like to actually use it since it was such a big fighting point for them in the game. They said that, there's going to be a lot of water PvP. There's going to be a lot of water combat. There's going to be a lot of different things you can do. But unfortunately, they just decided not to balance it, not to fix it, and just to take it out the game completely. Now, for class wise, the only classes that seem really weak right now are probably well, see, the thing is that no class really seems that weak if you use them in their own respective you use them like how they're meant to be, well, how not meant to be played, but if you use them for the meta, like how they're supposed to be played. Now, of course, if you go to engineer, you can't go to engineer and expect a whole bunch of damage unless you go grenade or flamethrower or something like that. But otherwise, you're gonna be. Otherwise, you're just gonna have to play the kind of class or the kind of spec that your class provides. So, for example, engineer is not really meant for damage; it's meant for bunkering with the turrets. That's the biggest thing right now. And then let's just leave this dude to die. And then, thieves are meant to be berserkers. Guardians are meant to be really med. I mean, guardians can really be anything else they kind of want to be, but med guardian is easily the best, simply because you can't die. You have a whole bunch of condition removal. You have a whole bunch of heals. This guy gonna ignore me? So you can live forever. You have the most survivability. You have the most all that cool stuff. Oh, let's make sure he doesn't. Oh, did he get him up? Anyways, did he die? This person, dude. But anyway, so it's a cool game, but as you can see, like thieves are extremely squishy in this game. Now I understand that's how they're supposed to be. The thieves are not supposed to be tanky, da 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 da. But it doesn't really make sense compared to the builds and the specking that's coming out now, where everyone's going tanky and most people will go, kind of a berserker damage build a little bit for the extra damage, or they'll go condition. So if you're playing a thief, which I main a thief in most games. Whenever you guys see me play most games, I'm going to be maining a thief. But unfortunately, I can't do that in this game because they're too squishy. I want to go Zerker so I get hit hard. But if you go Zerker, you're like a huge glass cannon that could get flicked and explodes. And is not fun at all. So I switch between Thief for Guild Wars only just because I can't. I hate being so squishy. I hate having to run and doing a whole bunch of other stuff just so I can survive and do damage. I like being in a person's face and blowing them up, and that's what I can do with Warriors. But Mesmars, on the other hand, is going to be getting a really, really cool weapon set. It's going to be called the Chronomancer in the new expansion, if you guys saw about it. It's going to be awesome. It looks great. And, it's just, that's what you got to do. That's what they should have been doing years ago. They should have been adding new specs. They should have been adding new classes, or at least a new race or something, and they haven't. The PvP from back then hasn't really changed unless you're talking about the rewards and what you get for PvPing. But otherwise, the generic PvPing is still the same. It's still exactly the same. You just run around with your new traits and your abilities, and you just try to blow people up the best as you can. And you defend the bases, and then when the base is taken, you run off just like we did, and then you just keep zerking around. There's no real skill there. There's no real objective finding. Like in other games, like in Rift and other places, and especially WoW, they have plenty of MMOs. Now, MMOs. They have plenty of battlegrounds. I understand that WoW has been a lot. They've been around a lot longer, but that doesn't mean that after 3 years, we are still fighting on the same 4 maps. Because that's literally all it is. It's like, what, Spirit something? This map, Battle of whatever, and then the Team Deathmatch map. I'm probably missing like 1. And that's it. So that's all you have to do. That's all you're gonna get if you want to PvP on Guild Wars, is the same maps over and over and over again. Now, of course, it really doesn't matter if you're playing with friends or if you have an objective to what you're doing, but it gets really aggravating sometimes to having to play the same map over and over and over. But it's just the whole thing of just map taking and objective taking. I'm not really interested in it. If you find like any other person you can talk to about like what you do, most people aren't really interested in objective, because an objective is always have to take 2 kinds of people. You're gonna have to take the kind of people that's going around killing people and the people that's actually doing objectives. You can't have one or the you can't have just one or the other, because then you'll lose. If you're just taking objectives, then they'll just be able to rush as the objective you take and back cap and then keep doing it. If you're only killing people, then they could take the objective under you, and that's also extremely annoying. So for my advice for PvP is simply add more different kinds of objective games. Like the new Stronghold is great, but the thing is, it's so PvE wise, because it's not like you're fighting other people. It's not like you're actually doing a battleground versus other people for something. It's kind of more of a race. Who can rush the gates faster to kill the dude faster, and who can slow the other person down. It's not really just a PvP where I'm trying to kill someone, I'm trying to fight someone, trying to do other things, to stop it. Like in that map, I had to kill a whole bunch of people. I had to defend the base. I had to do stuff. My thing is, you don't have to change the classes. You don't have to do anything drastic like that or add anything. Just add new maps, add new things where it's not objective taking. Because objective taking is really, really boring after a while, because you just want to be able to do other stuff like capture the flag or whatever else, whatever else there can be. But it's just, you just need more stuff. Otherwise than that, the meta is alright. The PvP is just stale. Everyone's waiting for the new expansion. The new expansion comes out and it's not good. It will kill Guild Wars to without a doubt. Everyone's been waiting for 2-3 years. Everyone's so hyped for this expansion. It's coming, new classes. They didn't release any new races yet, which I'm really scared about. but everyone's worried about the PvP in Guild Wars because they kind of stopped going into the PvE. They really stopped. They haven't updated fractals. They haven't added new dungeons. They haven't done anything with PvE really. Everything you get is skins, so it's not like they have to keep updating it or keep giving more stuff out or giving more rewards, everything like that. So most of the attention is going to the PvP, but like I said, all their attention is going to the tournaments. They're not really putting much into the maps. They're not really doing much into anything else. So everyone's just waiting for the new expansion. If the new expansion comes out and it's not good, it will kill Guild Wars, period. Like, everyone will have waited that long, and then it's nothing good, it will kill Guild Wars. But if it comes out, they added new maps, they added new races, they added new objectives in the maps, they added this, they added that, it will easily be able to do it. And hopefully they fix all the, little annoying stuff. With the new skill traits and stuff like that, it looks pretty good. I admit it looks pretty good for the Elementalist, the Revenant, and the Chronomancers. It looks pretty good, but with all the other classes, I'm still waiting. Anyways, guys, that was a quick commentary and overview of the world of PvP for Guild Wars 2. I'll talk to you guys later. This guy's standing next to my nuts.